All right, my friends, welcome to episode 201 of Prof and Dev Play Games. He is the nope, he is not. I am the professor, Larry, at Prof Plays Games on Twitter, and I've been at Comic-Con for 4 days, so I'm very tired. Over there is the Dev, and he is Anthony at Summer Speak. And before we get into our how's it going, just want to remind you that we have one more week of our give us a review on Apple podcast services and tweet us a photo of it at Summer Speak or at Prof Plays Games. We put all those entries into a hopper. And we're giving away a physical copy of Assassin's Creed Odyssey from GameStop, which is a new one, even though GameStop is stupid and gave me an open one. It is still new. And then Anthony's giving away Mass Effect Cards Against Humanity cards. So one more week to enter that. We will draw the winner on our podcast next week and then ship that somewhere in the United States, Canada, or Mexico. So please give us those reviews on Apple Podcast Service, please. So how you doing?
I'm doing okay. You know, just in crazy prep for a big camping vacation.
Oh, yeah, you're
spent all day just prepping, just so that it's not crazy tomorrow.
Right. No last minute stuff.
Yeah, but did a bunch of that stuff. Smoked a chicken today.
Nice. Just put it up in your little pipe and just...
Exactly. I literally smoked it. No, we got a smoker from our in-laws a while ago, and I got to use it.
Is it electric one or...
No.
Nice.
Charcoal wood, whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, gave it a try and did a honey bourbon brined smoked chicken.
That sounds awesome.
It turned out great. I was very happy.
So are you bringing some of that with you on your trip, or is it
No.
consumed?
I just wanted it for dinner. I just decided it was going to be it was a super nice day up here in Seattle today. And wanted to do something with the grill or outside. So, yeah, it's been a good into the weekend. Now just a couple more days and then off to Adventures at Yellowstone.
And off to somewhere in the middle to hook up the Wi-Fi in order to start playing Fire Emblem Fates, which...
Yep.
The preview
Fates, 3 houses.
God damn it, you're right. Fates is the last one.
I'm trying to think. At earliest will be Friday, if I can get either Wi-Fi or cell signal at Old Faithful Lodge.
And then use like a hotspot to download the thing?
Yeah, if I can hook to Wi-Fi with the Switch there, supposedly they do have Wi-Fi somewhere there.
Mm-hmm.
I can just hook the Switch up and get it. Or if I have cell signal, I'll just hotspot my phone and I've connected my Switch to my phone hotspot before, so.
Because it's not a very big file, right?
Supposedly all you need to unlock it is a small update file.
Okay.
Small, we'll put in quotes. Who knows? The FAQ is not clear on that, but
right.
I did preload the giant multi-gig download already, so it's sitting there. It's waiting. Yeah,
mine's sitting there too. I ended up doing that voucher thing. So it's nice. Like $100 for basically two vouchers. So get two $60 games for $100, and then I ended up buying my let's see here. I downloaded the Raise app and bought my eShop cards there, which were discounted 10%, and then there was another $5 off code, and then you got 500 coins for buying the thing anyway. So it's just, I think I got 2 games for $40 each, 2 brand new games.
So good.
Yeah. So 3 houses will be 40, and I'm probably going to get Link's Awakening for my second one. That felt pretty good. Pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Apologize for the noise that was going on in the background there. I decided for some reason to open up my swag box from the Game of Thrones panel at Comic-Con, and I got a nice steel Game of Thrones water bottle.
Oh, that's cool.
So I'm pretty stoked about that. That's what the noise was in the background.
Okay.
So yes, I was at San Diego Comic-Con. I had passed for all the days. The only day I didn't go was today, Sunday. Needed to be home with the family because I was gone. And the main thing that I did was sit in Hall H for most of Thursday and then all of Friday, and got to see Marvel Games panel, which we'll talk about. Got to see the Witcher panel for the Netflix show, which we'll talk about. A lot of Marvel panels, not the Marvel panel, but a couple writing panels from Marvel. Dark Crystal, Game of Thrones. It was a good time.
Yeah, sounds like it. Sounds like it was a lot of cool stuff going on.
Yeah, in the past, I've gone to Hall H once for a Firefly reunion, but otherwise I just kind of hang out on the convention floor, the exhibit hall, which now I'm realizing that's dumb. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff down there, but there's so many cool things at the panels, so I'm super psyched to keep going to panels in the future.
Yeah, especially if you can spend the time for Hall H. Like, I've never been, but, I mean, that's where there's cool stuff.
Oh, man. There was so much cool stuff. Even stuff that I wasn't even, like, there for was just really exciting. Like, The Walking Dead. Like, I don't care about The Walking Dead, but the actors were so cool. Just to hear them talk and just their enthusiasm was really infectious. And then the crazy thing, preview night, I ended up putting my daughter to bed, so I got a little late down there. I thought it was open until 10, but it was only open until 9. I showed up at 8:15, and I was like, well, I didn't get to see much of this, which is fine, because it's mainly just exhibit hall, and I wasn't really, there was no exclusives that I wanted to buy.
Yeah.
So then I met my friend Brad and his wife there, and they're like, you want to come out and eat with us? I was like, I have to get up early tomorrow. I probably should go home. But I said, no, I'll go, because I wasn't really here for that long, so I'll go with you. And then we went to a place that was further away than I thought we were going. And I was thinking, oh, man, I'm going to get home really late. And I was kind of feeling not so great about that. So I got a separate check so I could leave when I wanted to leave. And I kind of left at a time where I thought I could get home and still get enough sleep before the next day, because I had to wake up with my daughter. So I was kind of factoring that all into the time. And I left, and I was kind of walking fast. I was fast walking. And a couple blocks down, I literally ran into Greg Miller. He came out of a fucking restaurant, and I bumped into him. I looked at him, and I was like, oh, Greg Miller. And I was just like, I was in shock. I was just like stunned silent for a second. He's like, hey, man. He was just so nice. How you doing? I was like, oh, my God. Oh, my God.
So I wasn't expecting this.
Not at all. Like, the rest of the days, like, I was in the mode to, like, meet people. Like, cool.
Yeah.
But I was expecting just to go to my trolley. So we talked for a little bit, took a selfie with him, and I was just like, my con is made. I do not have to see anything else the rest of the con. And this was amazing, because he's the reason why I started this podcast. Like, He was on one of his podcasts after he left IGN, which was like, anyone can do this. Just, get a mic and start talking. And that's what I did. And then you joined and made it much better. But it was rad. And then I was at dinner on Friday night with my friend Ted, and up the street, I saw an IGN shirt that was in Pride colors. And I was thinking, I don't think they sell that one. Maybe they do. I'm not sure. But it looked like it was an internal shirt. And then I was like, that means there's some IGN people over there. So then as they kept coming to the sidewalk, Brian Altano was in there. And I was just like, just freaking out that it was him. I just waved at him and smiled. And he waved and smiled back. And I almost jumped out of my chair and ran out and like talked to him. And I was like, that's just going to be weird. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
But
you're like, play it cool.
I was trying to play it cool. But if he was alone, I probably would have mobbed him.
Yeah.
So, he's also someone I look up to in terms of podcasting. So it was really cool to see both of them. And then obviously all the panels, which was just incredible to see. For the Dark Crystal, I, for some reason, didn't know that Mark Hamill was voicing one of the characters.
I didn't know either, honestly. I haven't paid attention to it really at all.
Right. I haven't either. And he showed up on stage and I was like, oh my God, I've made the best decision of my life to be in Hall H today. And his co-star was actually, what's his name? Taron Egerton, the guy who plays Elton John in Rocketman.
Right.
It was so cool. I was just like, this is amazing. And I was just, I got in, and I lined up the night before. This is the Comic-Con podcast, by the way, guys. Lined up the night before, stayed in line for 3 hours to get a wristband. And then the next morning came in and then stayed in line for 3.5 hours or so to get in. And I was kind of going to sit near the back. I'm like, that's fine because I'm getting in super late. But I was by myself and there were lots of single seats between groups of people in the front. So I just went as far forward as I could. So I was pretty close to the front. And then when The Walking Dead turned over, I was able to move over forward probably like 5 or 6 more rows. So in terms of Hall H, I was pretty close. I was like 30 or 40 rows back.
Wow. How did that work with the wristbands? So Thursday night, you waited in. Did you have to be in Hall H to get a wristband, or is it you wait in a different line?
Totally different location, like way behind the convention center
to get a ticket get a wristband for the next day.
Correct.
Okay.
So I was freaking out because I've never done the wristband before. I haven't gone since 2012, so it's the first time I've done a wristband. So I didn't think there were going to be enough, but actually there were. Like people were getting them until like 1 a.m. that night, so I didn't even have to wait in line. I could have actually gone to the Dark Materials panel to see Lin-Manuel Miranda, which wish I would have known.
You see the tweet of the meetings of Critical Role, Matt Mercer and Marisha Lin-Manuel Miranda, and was it the Adventure Zone podcast.
Oh yeah,
so
the brothers.
Matt, the brothers, Matt and Marisha guested on it, and I guess Lin-Manuel Miranda did as well.
Oh, no
like they all
way.
did something on Thursday night. They did a whole thing together, and they all met. And then it was like Lin-Manuel Miranda posted a picture. It's the McElroy brothers.
Yeah, exactly.
And Matt and Marisha all together, but it was on picture from Lin-Manuel Miranda. He tweeted it, going like the meeting of amazingness or whatever. But I'm still like, this is crazy. Like, this is just a crazy meeting of people.
That's why Comic-Con's so good, because it's just bringing all these people together.
Yeah, and clearly they're all fans of each other's work. So
right, that must be so crazy for Mercer and Ray, even though they're huge. But it's Lin-Manuel Miranda,
and the fact that he knew who they were and like cared about who they were.
Right, and fuck, I could have stayed for that panel and still got a wristband. But anyway, so I was kind of freaked out about how the wristband thing worked. And then the next morning, they're like, you have to get in line by 7:30 the next morning. If you're not in line by 7:30 the next morning, you don't get in. It's like, okay, well, I need to get in line. Okay. So as I get to the Hall H entrance, the line is like a mile and a half going toward the marina. So I just follow it. And as I'm going, there are people in line with wristbands and there are people in line with no wristbands. And I was like, how should I be in front of them? Like, are they going to come pull us out of line? I didn't know how it worked. And I don't know if this is how it is every year, but you ask 5 volunteers at Comic-Con instructions or directions, and they will give you 5 different fucking answers. We were just bouncing all over the place, different lines, going different places, following instructions, getting to the new place, and them saying, you're not supposed to be here. Like, the guy in your shirt just told me to come here. That kind of stuff was annoying.
Yeah.
But then I get in the back of the line, and then there are just tons more people getting in line behind me. I got there at 7, and people were lined up from, past that with wristbands behind me. And it didn't matter what color. Like, they give out the wristbands like A, B, C, D, F, or A, B, C, D, E, maybe. And it's just so they know, like, what group they have. So when you're seeing group D being passed out, there's only one group left to be passed out or whatever. But then as we were going into the hall, because they had given out all the wristbands the night before, basically, if you didn't have a wristband on, they would not let you in. So they would not let you through security. So people in front of me who didn't have wristbands were getting kicked out. And then only us who had wristbands. So we came in, we started filing in around, the line started moving around 7:30, and then we got in at 10 o'clock. So it took that long to get the line through security and in. And as I was standing in line, I was playing my Switch and, whatever. And I was actually texting you, or I was texting somebody, and I had my Switch in my offhand, which was near the street. And I was texting, but I'm not an idiot. So I'm just very aware of my surroundings at all times. And this guy and like three homies basically, just swerved toward me and went toward my Switch hand and reached out to grab it. And I just looked over at him, just stared at him, and he just like swerved away and went in a different direction. It's like, dude, you're not stealing my shit here. So it looked like they were trolling the line, grabbing stuff.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Horrible.
That's not happening with me.
No.
So got in. And yeah, it was the first panel was the writers of some of the it was Endgame, Infinity War.
Yeah, they did Winter Soldier.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They've done a number.
Yeah, they were cool. It was really cool to hear about the process. And then the next one was the Russo brothers.
Okay.
It was cool to listen to them too. And then Walking Dead, and then The Witcher.
Yeah.
Which
got about an hour.
It was an hour. It was Henry Cavill. It was Anya. I can't remember who's Anya something who's playing Yen, and then someone else who's playing Siri, exactly. And the actress who plays Yen is, from the clips they showed, just phenomenal. Like, really good actress. Her scenes looked really good. Henry Cavill's scenes, they were all just sword fighting scenes, basically. Yeah. So the jury's still out for me in terms of the acting. That's an open question for me.
How much acting is necessary for Geralt? I feel like it would be a much more physical performance generally.
Yeah, I think that's right.
It's less because he's very low. Doesn't change his tones all that much, even in the game or in the way it's portrayed. Right. Like, I mean, they've had emotion more stripped out of them as a Witcher, but
that's their whole thing. Yeah,
yeah. But I feel like it would be a lot in how he carries himself.
Yeah, I felt like that. Like, just turn off the sound and just look, I felt like, looks like Geralt. Looks how Geralt should look or move like Geralt should move. Just seems a little young. So that's the only thing.
And how much is that based on our interpretation of it through the games as opposed to the books? Because I know this is very much an adaptation of the books, and like, sure, they'll probably have Easter eggs and stuff from the games, right? But that's not the source material that they're directly pulling from.
Yeah, and I thought about that, and I was like, well, I've read the books, so I still feel like I based it on the books. I'm like, no, I read the books after the game, so whatever's in the books is colored by the game.
I've only read Last Wish.
Yeah.
And I'm very curious. I can't pin on how old Geralt wasn't supposed to be in those books. Like, again, because I read it after the games. So I was always imagining Geralt as the Geralt in, honestly, Witcher 2 and 3.
Right, me too, because unless I'm misremembering, Last Wish he's been the Witcher for a while. He's been doing this. Yeah. It's not a new job for him. So I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic, and I used to just be like super excited because I just want to see an adaptation on the screen.
Yeah.
But now I'm cautiously optimistic, and honestly, the actress who plays Yen, like, it's fucking great. And then the actress who plays Ciri, I'm not sure because her scene there wasn't a lot of dialogue.
See.
So again, I'm not sure, but in the show, she looks like she's like 12 when the actress does not that young at all. So
yeah, I know she's young. That they're having her be pretty damn young in this adaptation.
And I think that means it'll be a younger Geralt, slightly younger.
No, I think totally, because this is where Ciri finds Geralt.
Correct. Right.
Yeah, and they like all come together basically. What is that in? I can't remember what books that is in.
It's in Last Wish.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So and
but those are all the Last Wish is just short stories though.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, it's just
it's one of the short stories. Yeah. So the I can't remember her name. The showrunner and writer.
Yeah.
She was talking about how a lot of it, like reading The Last Wish and how she wanted to do this. Actually, no, she was reading Last Wish and wanting someone to adapt it because it just was so good. And then someone Netflix called her and said, "Would you be the showrunner for this?" And she's like, "No, I'm not good enough to do this. You need to find someone who's good enough to do this." Which I think, maybe self-deprecating, maybe whatever, but obviously she seems like she got the chops. So
she had a lot of respect for material and did not. I mean, that's just more
how it came across.
Reverence of like, crap, I love this stuff. Can I actually do this and do it justice to myself?
Which is good, because then I think you really push yourself to do the best thing you can do.
Yeah.
So the thing that didn't come out of, two things didn't come out of this panel. One, don't know the release date, but it's in post-production in London right now. So I assume it's November.
I would expect sometime before the end of the year.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I don't know if this is like season 1.
It could be. It doesn't have to be.
Depends on how well it does.
Yeah.
So super excited about that. It was nice to see them talking. Henry Cavill seemed like a nice guy. He just has reverence for the source material, specifically the game. Though he didn't talk about having read the books.
No, he knows it from the game. He's talked about it like in an interview. Actually, I think from Comic-Con after that panel, he gave an interview, or somewhere where basically was saying that he's played The Witcher 3 multiple times through.
No, he said that panel. Yeah.
Loves it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And that was his introduction to The Witcher, was through the games. And he likes games a lot. He plays a lot of games and was a big, there's like story. Was this in the panel where he said that he almost missed getting cast as Superman?
It wasn't, but that story's been told a lot.
Where he's like, because he was playing WoW.
Yeah, exactly. But he referenced it slightly. He's like, it's not like he said, I play a lot of games. He's like, yeah, I play WoW too, as you probably know.
Okay.
Yeah. But I would suspect that if you were that into the games and you were wanting to pursue this role, that you'd probably also read the books. He didn't mention it, but I assume he has.
At this point, I'm sure he's done his research.
Yeah, exactly.
And because this is based on the books, to learn that version of Geralt. But it also makes me interested if he'll be the one trying to pull in little Easter eggs here and there.
If I can't imagine he wouldn't. Like if it's like no one else wants to, he's like, well, I've played the games a million times, I want to.
What is it?
Do something.
Was it a stuffed unicorn? It's got to be in there, right? Somewhere?
Well, it's in the books too, though.
Oh, that's good. Is it really?
Yeah, it is.
I don't even remember that.
I don't know if it's in Last. If you don't remember, it's not in Last Wish then, but it's somewhere.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh God, please.
Yeah, it's in the books. One thing in the panel that was awesome was the showrunner, or no, Henry Cavill, one of the two. Let's say that was a showrunner. I don't remember if it was her or not. Basically said, Henry Cavill is really annoying. He wanted this role before we even knew the show was going to be greenlit. Like and then he said, yeah, I had my agent call her every day, and then it finally took a meeting with me. And I came in and she said, we don't have anything. We're not even casting yet. And he's just like, here's why I want this role. Here's why I'm good for this role. And they looked at 207 actors for Geralt and finally settled on Cavill. So it's pretty cool. Oh,
that's determination.
Panel, yeah. I mean, he was just, he wanted it. So, props to him. So it got me hyped. Yeah. Pretty exciting.
I saw the trailer that they put out, which I assume was shown at the panel.
Mm-hmm, probably.
But all that went online was the teaser trailer, and it showed it ended with Geralt versus big spider thing.
Oh yeah. Yep, they showed that.
So yeah, that's all I've seen, but I'm super excited. I like the way it looks, and I hope it turns out well. It has to be better than the old adaptation. If you've ever seen, that thing is terrible. It's so terrible.
Yeah, no, it has to be. I mean, it's Netflix. Netflix has money. It's got to be. It's got to be at least okay, right?
Yeah, that's my hope. I do see a lot of people. I saw stuff on Twitter more recently when the trailer came out. People are still commenting "Where's his other sword?" Did they address that in the panel?
Not at all. And I was hoping they would do a Q&A because I actually would have gone up there and been like,
no,
okay,
but the showrunner has addressed it on her Twitter. It's on Roach. In the books, he doesn't carry both swords.
Oh, interesting.
In the books, he only carries one sword with him, and he leaves the monster hunting sword on Roach unless he needs it.
I thought it was going to be some sort of origin story of how he got the second sword.
They showed a picture of Roach. That's where it came through a Twitter when they were showing off. Here's Roach. Here's the horse that's playing Roach. Right. Because he has to be there, and it was this is where, and that was with the showrunner's hey, this is what I meant. You had to wait to know where the second sword was.
Oh my,
it's on the horse.
That makes sense. I totally forgot about that I don't remember that at all, but that makes total sense.
It's one of those things I don't remember, but again, I was coming from the games, and I think I always just imagined reading it with Geralt with two swords on his back.
Me too. Yeah, I skipped over that.
I don't think it specifically says a ton in the book, maybe a little bit here and there, but it's not called out very specifically.
Well, and he wrote it first, so he wouldn't think he needed to, I guess.
Yeah.
There's one point where when they introduced Yen, they introduced Ciri, they introduced Geralt, obviously, and they introduced the fourth character, and it showed Roach.
Yep.
And Henry Cavill was like, yep, this is Roach. Some of you might know him as the flying horse, but he is not flying in this game. I was like, yeah, or this show, and I was just laughing my ass off.
Please put a Easter egg where Roach is on top of a house somewhere.
On a fucking house, exactly, on a roof. I was next to people who didn't know anything about The Witcher, and I was like, when they showed Roach, I was like, he should be on top of a roof. And the people next to me were like, what? And I was like, never mind.
And honestly, that's not even from the game. That's just the concept art where someone, yes, there's bugs with Roach in the game, but there's actual concept art.
Yeah.
That was done by CDPR that had that Roach on top of a house with Geralt being like, what the hell?
Was that after through their bug testing? They're like, what the fuck?
I don't know. I don't know when that piece came out. It's in the RPG book. It's actually the image that they used as the full page image leading into the GM section, which is a good summation of what GMing is like.
I did not mean for this horse to be on the fucking roof.
Why are my players doing? God damn it!
Yep, exactly. So it was a great panel. It was such a good panel, man. Before I keep rambling more about Comic-Con, do you want to intercede with anything that you've heard from Comic-Con?
Really, it's the same stuff that you saw. What did I see? I saw a little bit more on the Star Trek Picard.
Oh, yeah.
They showed a trailer for that, and it looks awesome. I was very skeptical going in. I was like, really? We're doing this? And Patrick Stewart is going to always be Jean-Luc Picard. Always.
Yes.
And he's just that character. He just immediately yep, that's Picard. Cool. But then they showed off other characters. They showed Data. So Brent Spiner is going to be back as Data a little bit. Wow. And then they showed, for people who watched Voyager, Jerry Ryan's doing 7 of 9 again, and she's in the show, which is the Borg. She was a Borg. She was a really popular character in Voyager. She's in there, and then they confirmed that Riker and Troy will also be in the show.
Really?
Yep.
Same actors?
Same actors. They actually were talking. So they did the panel. I think that was a panel on Saturday.
It was Saturday, yeah.
It was at the morning on Saturday.
Correct.
And Patrick Stewart mentioned that they were going to be in it, and then Jonathan Frakes on Twitter was like, "Yeah, we're filming our scene on Monday."
Oh, nice.
So they're starting to do their part of filming on Monday. So
yeah.
I mean, this is really a continuation of that whole timeline, which made me really excited. So,
but it's like a crossover with other, like you said, Voyager and other things.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it's basically however many years later after all those shows, the Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager timeline stopped, and so I guess 15, 20 years later, who knows? It just made me excited. I was very skeptical and was like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this. And I saw it and I'm like, yeah, let's do this. I want to spend more time with Picard again.
Who doesn't want to spend more time with Patrick Stewart?
I mean, Patrick Stewart, he's just such a cool actor. And
did you watch Logan, by the way?
Yes.
Okay.
He was amazing.
He's
an amazing actor.
Yeah.
I've watched him through TNG, and then when he was Professor X and all those things.
Yep.
But then even in college, when I was taking my Shakespeare classes, I was basically watching, we would watch Royal Shakespeare Company with him and Ian McKellen,
right,
playing different their time on stage doing Shakespeare, and he's amazing, an incredible actor. So yeah, it's just cool to see him continue to be able to play these parts, and the fact that he doesn't age, really.
He looks almost the same.
He does, and it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
What else did I see that came out of there? I mean, Westworld stuff, when it came out on Saturday, I was thrilled. I love that show. And the 3rd season gets into my, true cyberpunk glory. So,
oh, wow.
It's always hinted at it, but it's really going there for the 3rd season, it looks like. So it's twisty, and I'm sure gets a little bit up its own ass at times. But usually the imagery is always good, and the acting is great. And what else can we say? The Marvel stuff? Because everyone's talking about Marvel stuff right now. Yeah,
apparently the Marvel panel on Saturday was just fucking hit after hit.
They haven't talked about anything post-Endgame. There's rumors, of course.
Right.
But officially, they were like, no, we're not talking about what comes after Endgame until Endgame happens.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. They're like, this is so people didn't know. But yeah, I mean, it's just crazy amounts of stuff in the next 2.5 years. It's basically they're showing 2020 and 2021.
Right. I couldn't believe how much stuff was packed into those 2 years. 1 year was like big movie after big movie.
Yeah. But it's definitely a shift because, and you even mentioned in text, it's not where previous all the way up till now would have been lots of movies.
Right.
It's now basically half movies, half TV shows.
Yeah, they're trying to get people to subscribe to Disney Plus.
But those TV shows directly relate to the movies now. Not tangentially like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did, but no, the events that happen in the Wanda and Vision show are going to lead directly into the next Doctor Strange movie, which was the Madness in the Multiverse?
Yeah.
Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, right.
Or Madness. I don't know. It was a crazy alliteration. But they're saying that was going to be a horror movie. Or really wanted to push the horror aspects of it. To do that for the first time. The director's like, I just don't want to make a sequel. If we're going to do this, I want to do something new and push kind of... Doctor Strange has always had some more gothic and horror aspects to it. So he really wants to push those elements in the sequel. What else? I mean...
There's a Hawkeye series.
There's a Hawkeye series where it's Jeremy Renner's back, but he's going to be training Kate Bishop, who is his daughter.
Right.
Into being the next Hawkeye in the comics. Line up there. I mean, there's a Black Widow movie coming out first.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one. I really like ScarJo.
That should be a lot of fun. Probably set before Endgame, just be honest. Actually, it's very clear. I think they showed some footage from it, and it's set in the past. It's really like her origin story. Finally, you like really get to like dig in there where they've
right, because she hasn't really had that.
No, she didn't. She appeared in Iron Man 2 was the first time. Right. She just kind of has been around and has been elevated as a character as movies have gone on. Like they've given more to that role.
Right.
There's that. There was a Shi Chang movie, which is the first Chinese helmed led Marvel movie. I know nothing about it, but it's like, but you look at the cast and it's like full Chinese cast.
Oh, wow.
Which is a huge deal. Like, this is big representation here. And let's be honest, the Chinese movie market is huge.
That's it. They ain't stupid.
No, they ain't stupid at all. They had the Eternals.
Yeah, what the fuck is that? Richard Madden is in that?
Richard Madden's in it. It's basically take like the Greek gods. It's Marvel's version of the Greek gods.
Oh, okay.
Effectively. Like, they're not Richard Madden's playing Icarus. Uh-huh. One of the guys is playing Hephaestus. It's Jack Kirby, who did stuff for DC, but this is what he did when he came to Marvel back in the day. And Salma Hayek is Ajax.
Isn't Angelina Jolie in that movie too?
Yep, she's Athena.
Right.
Kumail Nanjiani.
Oh yeah,
is in there. I mean, they had the cast show up, and you're like, wow, this is actually a diverse cast.
Yeah,
and it's great. There's just a lot going on there, and
that's a movie, not a series, or is that a series?
That's a movie.
Okay.
Again, they're pulling from some of their pretty unknown comics, I would say, but
right.
I feel like at this point they're just like, let's do this. We're going crazy now, and we're going to pull a bunch of stuff in. Yep, yeah. And then they ended it with two huge ones, which was, Taika Waititi's back for a new Thor. Did you see Thor Ragnarok? Did you watch it?
Unfortunately.
You should really watch it. It's by far the best Thor movie. Like, it might be one of my favorite Marvel movies overall.
And the sequel or the next Thor movie is kind of going that same direction, right? Yes. The same theme, or not theme.
Yeah, I mean,
tone.
Tone is, it's definitely like really bright colors, like a little bit, I assume, more comedic. I mean, the title is Love and Thunder.
Yeah, right.
So, but I did get to see a little bit of a clip of when Taika Waititi was talking, and they asked him, like, well, what source material are you looking at whenever you're making this movie? And he's like, well, when I was making Ragnarok, I was reading the Mighty Thor, which was the latest Mighty Thor that was coming out. And he's like, and you people in the audience might know what was going on during that. You know, when it was a female Thor, the goddess of thunder. And then you could hear the audience kind of go, wait a second, because it's Jane Foster in the comics is Thor. She wields the hammer. And that's Natalie Portman in the movies. And she hasn't been in any movies since the second Thor, because she's was very angry at the MCU and everything at that time. Her character kind of got shit on, really.
Oh.
It was underwritten, and then Thor 2 was a horribly messy production where she was signed on. There was a female director for it, and then that director got canned or left.
Oh, no.
And she got stuck on this movie that really is one of the worst movies if not the worst Marvel movie that they've done. It's not a good movie overall. It's still fun, but I don't think any Marvel movie is straight up bad, but you can tell the quality is just not there in it. And there was definitely some anger behind the scenes of like what was going on. And then they basically sidelined her character in Avengers with a quote of like, where's Jane? She's somewhere. Ragnarok references her once that the Thor and her broke up, but she's not in Ragnarok. But she came out on stage here and is going to be Goddess of Thunder. She's going to be wielding the hammer. And we'll see how that transition goes. But yeah, I was not expecting that. I mean,
is this going to be post Endgame?
Yes, all this is post Endgame.
So are the Guardians going to be in that movie then?
They maybe, who knows? They have so this the end of the panel. There was a clip because they showed up until Thor, and they're like, and Kevin Feige is like, and we've shown you all this and all these TV shows, but we don't even have time to talk about Black Panther 2 or Guardians of the Galaxy 3 or Captain Marvel 2. You're just gonna have to wait till later for us to talk about those. So we confirmed that they're being made.
Right.
They're just not in this 2-year period.
It's kind of like what Nintendo does, right? Like,
yeah.
here's what we're doing for this year, and then next year we'll talk about next year.
Yeah, and this is a different thing because the last time Marvel did a big, like, here's our big roadmap of movies. They did like 5-year roadmap,
right?
And a number of things on that roadmap changed, especially as you were nearing like 3 and 4 year mark. They like completely dropped movies that they said were coming. That the Immortals was one of them. No, not Immortals, Inhumans, and they completely dropped all the Inhuman stuff from the MCU. They just aren't doing it.
Yeah.
So I think this was their, like, we're just going to do 2 years that we know these movies are happening.
Right.
Like, and
that's a lot at once. That's crazy.
We'll get through 2 years and then we'll tell you more.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which we know that is Black Panther 2 and Captain Marvel 2 and Guardians 3.
Those have got to be at Comic-Con next year. Like, I don't think they're going to have next year.
They've skipped years before.
Really?
Yeah.
Marvel Studios?
Yeah, they've skipped years before where they didn't feel like they needed to be there to do it. They could, because everything had been announced.
Right.
And so there's a good chance that they don't do anything huge next year, or they just show more of the stuff coming out in the following year. And then 2 years from now, they do another big Hall H, showing off what's the next chunk in those other movies.
Right. I can see that.
Because they've talked, like, Black Panther 2, briefly, like, Ryan Coogler didn't even start writing the script until after Endgame, like, came out. So it's nowhere near ready to go. So.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
they come out with that big of a blowout, and kind of like that big of an advertisement from Disney Plus.
Yeah, I mean, now Disney Plus has all those shows plus the Marvels, the Star Wars shows that are coming.
Oh, that's right. I forgot what the fuck Star Wars.
There's The Mandalorian, and then there's going to be a Cassian Andor show, who is Rogue One, the lead guy in Rogue One, the Hispanic actor.
Okay.
You knew him. God, you.
Oh, I did.
He was in why is his name is on the tip of my tongue?
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
And our audience is currently screaming at us for not remembering.
Diego Luna?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so it's him and Alan Tudyk still as K2SO.
Right, nice. Nice.
So
Nice.
I think Disney Plus is going to be a pretty big hit on that front of, like, yeah, you subscribe to it, you get really good exclusive content.
Fucking good quality shit, yeah.
I mean, it's Disney, though. Are you expecting anything less, really?
Not at this point, yeah. Well, it's crazy, like, we all cut the cord, and then we're all paying, like, $15 for all these subscriptions every month, so we're paying way more than we used to.
Yeah, I have to be very careful on that. I only subscribe to Netflix. I guess I have Amazon Prime, too, but that also feels like that just comes along. The Prime Video stuff comes along for the fact that I'm using it for shipping more than anything. Right. Because I live on a fucking island.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't have Amazon anymore. But we subscribe to Netflix, Hulu, Sling, and something else. But we're about to drop Sling. We only do Sling because of the San Diego Padres, and they're dropping the San Diego Padres as of Monday. So Sling can get fucked because the other thing we watch on there besides Padres is Jeopardy, and we can get that other ways. Yeah. So that's $25 a month we'll be saving. There you go. But so that's all the movie news. But you saw Avengers game. Yeah, the Marvel Games panel, which was really cool. It was moderated by Greg Miller, which he fucking did a great job bringing energy to that. He always does great at moderation. God, he was really fucking good. I don't know, but the moderation during EA, like, I felt like he was a little bit yelly. And I like him being yelly, but it was a little weird. But this was awesome. And I think partially because I was in the audience for this one, so it felt different than watching it on TV. Yeah. But basically, the Marvel's game panel started with Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, which was coming out the next day. So it came out this last Friday. And they revealed a character, which was Loki. So Loki's in the game. And then they said that Colossus and Cyclops are coming as free DLC on the end of August. So people were pretty hyped about that. And they showed some of the DLC packages that were coming. I think they only named one. The first one was the Marvel Knights, which has Morbius, I don't know who that is, Moon Knight, don't know who that is, Punisher, and then Blade. And when they showed Blade, I was like, that's weird. Blade hasn't been around for a really long time. Why would they lead with Blade? Forgot about that last little thing at that Marvel panel. Yep, the last little thing, Mahershala Ali as Blade. Did you hear that he came specifically to Kevin
Feige to ask for the Blade role.
He did?
Yeah, it wasn't them reaching out to him. Ali said although Kevin Feige is like, if we ever do Blade, I want him. Like, he had been thinking of it. He's like, I've been thinking about that for years, but we haven't really got to that point. We never talked to him about it. But Ali came to Feige and it's like, I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you about Blade. And he's like, yes, awesome. We're doing it.
Yeah.
Immediately, like, yep, on the table, we're done. Let's sign this.
Well, that's interesting because I was thinking about it earlier when you said the continuity between Disney Plus TV shows and then the movies, which is something that did not happen with the Netflix Marvel shows.
No,
like
not at all.
Mahershala Ali plays a character in Luke Cage, so obviously he couldn't also play Blade in that same universe.
Nope.
So
this is really if you needed any conclusive evidence that those shows don't matter at all to the MCU, there you go. They don't.
Which sucks because Jessica Jones is so good, but
yeah,
and I also like Daredevil a lot, but whatever. So the Marvel Knights is the first DLC. There's 3 DLC packs, and then they showed Avengers stuff. Well, they talked about mobile game, but I'm sorry guys, I don't care. Then they talked about Marvel Avengers, and they showed it was like a 2-hour panel, and it was probably like a 20-minute demo, 15 minutes. It was fucking long. And it was kind of like the whole beginning sequence where it's like Avengers Day in San Francisco, and then the shit goes down, and the Avengers have to start fighting on the Golden Gate Bridge or whatever. And it just showed like from each Avengers perspective, like a battling basically. You know, it was Iron Man, it was Black Widow, it was Captain America for a little bit, it was who else was there? Thor. Who's the 5th one? Hulk. It was a Hulk. No, yeah, I was thinking Hulk. No, it wasn't Hawkeye. It was Hulk. And it was showing them fucking Hulk, like got the audience on their feet. It's the way that Hulk was playing. But in general, honestly, like to actually see the game running, or at least the demo running or whatever, like the behind closed door demo from E3 that they didn't show at the Square Enix thing, it looks good. I think it, like, if I were to extrapolate from what I saw, it looks like 8.5, 9 out of 10 kind of thing.
Wow.
I thought it looked really good. There were some moments that looked off in terms of, I think specifically Iron Man, the way that he was hitting people. It just, something was dissonant. The Iron Man thing I didn't quite feel. But everything else was good. The thing that really stood out for me is the writing. The Avengers are constantly talking to each other as they're fighting, like on comms, and they're fighting individually, but they're talking to each other. And the kind of one-liners and things they're saying would get irritating if they are only that for the entire game. Just kind of very cliched. But honestly, I thought it looked really good. So I don't know if it's going to hit like Spider-Man level, but I also don't know if you can switch between Avengers at random, or if it's like very linear where like you play Iron Man now and you play whatever later.
Yeah.
But
like they're holding that pretty close to their chest about how the game is actually structured.
Right. And there must be a reason for that. And they said that they're going to release this demo to the public on at the end of Gamescom.
Okay.
Which I don't know why.
I mean, that's when Cyberpunk is going to they're going to put out their demo. Behind closed doors demo after Gamescom as well.
Oh, okay.
It just seems like a thing. They want to keep it for the press right now. And there's part of me that wonders if they'll put narration to it when they put it out. Like the Cyberpunk demo before last year's, where they're like, no, we're putting this out to the public, make it clear that things could change, and we're going to narrate on top of it, as if you were in the room and someone was narrating to you about what was going on. So it's all about presentation, I think.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense. And the marketing beats, I guess.
Yeah.
The thing that people kept talking about during E3 was just like they didn't expect the models to look like this, and it's just jarring and doesn't look good or whatever. I kind of felt the same way in terms of like I just had the movie characters in my head, but after maybe a couple minutes of the gameplay, like I forgot about it. I thought it looked good. I didn't care that they looked different. It's their own interpretation of these characters. Like it's fine. And then they had the panel, and it was, all the fucking voice actors. And I was like, oh my God, it's Nolan North, it's Troy Baker, it's fucking Laura Bailey and Travis Willingham. And then, I'm sorry, 5th dude. I keep forgetting who the 5th person, the guy who plays fucking Captain America. I keep forgetting his name. But I was just like, this is amazing. I'm not going to see Critical Role this time, but I get to see 2 of them right now.
It's true.
I was fucking stoked. And then, good God, what was in the... Oh, there's going to be a collector's edition of the Avengers with a Captain America statue.
Oh, of course.
And I think they ended with Avengers.
Yeah, I think so. That's what it sounded like.
Right. So I didn't really see any other like big announcements. It was just basically those two things. I haven't played multiple Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, but
it's not one I'm going to pick up right now, but it's definitely one that I would consider getting just as a fun, just action RPG-ish romp type thing.
Yeah, it seems like a summer game, just kind of like a fun, but nothing, too spectacular.
Supposedly really good co-op though. So.
Oh yeah, that sounds good. And then after that, it was Dark Crystal, which was amazing. They showed the whole first episode of Dark Crystal. Mark Hamill was there, and it was so cool. He got an award, which was nice. But they showed the first episode, and it was, if you've ever watched Dark Crystal, like it feels like you're watching Dark Crystal. Like the nostalgia is totally there, but there's just a bunch of new tech and all that stuff. Although it's still puppets.
It looks so pretty.
It fucking looks gorgeous. It was amazing.
It's so weird too. God, it's weird.
Yeah,
just the way Jim Henson puppet stuff.
Yeah,
is kind of, it just generally has a like twisted fairy tale aspect to it. Mm-hmm. It's the only way I can really describe it.
The two things that stood out to me, one was that just how complex the plot is. Like there are several, they're introducing several different strands, and like it feels very complex, which is interesting. Everything was just the Skeksis, the kind of the bad guys, basically. Yeah. They all kind of look the same to me, so I had a really hard time remembering which one was which. I had to like look for specific features that were different. So that was that. I wish there was a little more differentiated, but otherwise, that looked cool. And then it ended with Game of Thrones and. Motherfucker. Earlier in the day, I saw a tweet that said Game of Thrones director pulls out of panel. And I was like, oh, well, Sapochnik's not going to be here. Great. Okay, well, at least the showrunners will be here. Like, it'll be like a true ending. Nope. Fucking Weiss and Benioff decided not to come for some. I don't know why. I haven't heard yet.
They said working conflicts.
Uh-huh.
So whatever they're working on. Supposedly.
So the working conflict didn't come up until the day before the panel.
Yep.
Like, seriously, like... It very much felt like super fun to come to Comic-Con. We can just soak in all the adulation. And now when there's less adulation, like we can't be bothered. And it was very clearly the elephant in the room that actually was addressed about the ending. Like they mentioned the petition to reshoot and, kind of like they all felt good with the ending. It's just like, it just felt very... Yeah. Adversarial is a little strong, but I feel like that kind of came out like ready for like the fans to kind of boo or whatever, which we didn't. But before they even came out, the director of programming who comes out before every panel to give you like the rules or whatever, just like, don't take pictures of certain things or whatever.
Yeah.
This one he came out and said, Comic-Con is great because we all respect everyone's opinions and we're all very nice to each other. And I just hope that we continue to be nice for the next panel. Like, it was very clear, like, let's...
Well, you said they didn't do audience Q&A either.
And they were fucking supposed to. And then at the end, they had the people lined up, they had the mic ready, and then at the end, the moderator was like, oh, man, I forgot about Q&A. I'm sorry, that's my fault. Like, kind of like that. Like, you didn't forget. You planned to not do it. There was a guy dressed up as a Night King, and he had a sword in his belly, and on one side it said, Azor Ahai. And on the other side, it said Star Wars.
What?
Like, oh my God. That's kind of was the sentiment in the room. Like people around me were like, fucking D&D aren't here. Like people knew, like down to like calling them D&D, like just like they're not here. They should be here. Like there was some upset in the audience, which I kind of wanted to see how the Q&A went because the Q&A, like fans, people listening, if you're going to go to a con and ask questions, just don't.
Yeah,
don't ask questions.
I mean, well, we saw at Emerald City Comic-Con, we were in the Critical Role thing. Those questions were fine.
I thought they were good.
Those were good. I think I told you, though, I've been back in college, went to anime conventions. Oh my God. Just shoot me. It was just embarrassing to listen to people ask questions. Down to weird minutia of shows. Do you remember in this season and this episode and this scene, this character did this thing, and they translate it for the Japanese, the director there, the writer, and they're like, no, I don't remember that at all.
Next question.
Yeah, basically the person's like, what do you mean? It's like, no, they don't care. Get over it.
Right.
There's something wrong with continuity, or something's wrong with what was written, or whatever. Yeah, guess what? The writers, directors, and actors, they don't care. They've moved on.
There was like the same guy asking questions for every single panel, and it was just like he had his notebook out, and he was just like, it was basically like the way his questions were coming across were like, I get off on asking questions in front of people. I don't know. It was weird. Like,
yeah.
I just did not like the question. So I'm glad they didn't do the Q&A for Game of Thrones because it would have been embarrassing, but they should have done it because clearly they were like, I just felt like they were going through the motions.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
the actors.
What are the actors going to say? Because people are going to come up and they're going to ask the question of like, what do you think of the last, like, something specific, or a baiting question that's like, well, yeah, how do I answer that? I'm not going to tank my career to answer your stupid question.
Exactly.
Like,
and I'm fine with that. Like, I understand that, but I just felt like the mood from the actors was like, we're the ones that stuck it out and we're here.
Yeah.
Like, I fucking waited all night, all day, whatever. That's the one I wanted to go to, and it ended up being like not the best panel of the day, like for me. Even though I thought that the individual actors were fine, like I thought it was fine, but it was like nothing that I haven't heard before. Yeah. It was just very much like we're going through the paces, and I just kind of sucked.
I mean, it's going to be years before you get a ton of info on like what the actors really thought of that stuff. That tends to how it go. Like most people will stay pretty quiet about it until like this portion rolls over, and then they'll do interviews much later and being like, yeah, let me just tell you what it was like.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are probably pretty respectful as well, and they don't want to like badmouth the people around them that they've worked with. So.
No, and they were, and the moderator was like, I want you to tell me the thing that you're going to miss the most about filming Game of Thrones, and don't tell me it's the cast and the crew, because people always say that. And Jamie Lannister, fucking Nikolai Coster-Waldau. Anyway, yeah, there you go. He was like, I'm going to tell you it's the cast and the crew. Like, that's the answer. I was like, yeah, that's good. Like, fuck you. I'm not going to like get corralled by you. I'm going to tell you what I really think, and it's the people. So,
I mean, working that long on a single show, with all,
it should have felt triumphant this panel, I think, and it was not at all.
Yeah, the show wasn't triumphant in its end.
Yeah,
so it's hard to have a triumphant panel at that point. Although it got nominated for 32 Emmys,
you know what's
and most writing is one of them.
And fucking writing for the Iron Throne episode.
Yep.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yep.
Like, did you not watch episode 2, The Night of the Seven Kingdoms? Like, that's the best written episode of maybe the entire series.
Yeah.
And obviously it wasn't written by D&D, so it didn't get nominated. And you know what fucking else? Gwendolyn Christie.
Oh, I heard that.
Did you fucking hear this? No one nominated her. She nominated herself, and then she got into the top 5 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Unreal that they wouldn't nominate her for her fucking acting for the season. And Alfie Allen should have got nominated. I don't think he got nominated. So, just like, for best writing, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Like,
honestly, they got all this. It's basically just like, hey, we haven't given you enough stuff over the years. Here it is. Like, this isn't just this season. It's like,
of course,
let's give you nominations in consideration for how this is done over the full seasons.
Right.
Which is similar to what the Oscars did with Return of the King.
Yeah, right.
Because they didn't get much of anything for Fellowship and Two Towers, and I think Fellowship is the best movie out of all of them. Like, at least Fellowship of the Ring is the one I can rewatch over and over and over. And it didn't really get much of any kind of nods at the time beyond like CG, the stuff you would expect.
Yeah.
And then Return of the King happened. They're like, fine, here you go, have all the Oscars. It's fine. You did great.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how the same way it feels with the Emmys this year for Game of Thrones was just here. You for the most part, you've done great. Let's just give it. But God, that last season overall is not good. So yeah, you made it through that one, and I don't think there was anything else game wise.
No, I don't. Kojima had a panel, but I didn't
I sent you that. You got to take a picture with Ashley Johnson because why not?
Yeah, right.
I think they showed the final cover and art for the game. And then someone mentioned a thing. Weirdly, Keanu Reeves was potentially in the game there as well.
Oh, I saw that. And then they passed on him.
He passed because he wanted Mads Mikkelsen. But it's actually interesting to me, judging from that, and because it didn't sound like Kojima was going after Keanu Reeves. It sounds like his agent is probably...
Oh.
I actually think this is a thing, like, probably, I don't know if it's even him, if it's his agent has been like, hey, you should probably, are you interested in doing game roles and, like, mocap stuff? And probably Keanu Reeves is like, sure, let's go for it. And his agent has probably been reaching out to these studios. Like, that's probably why he got to Cyberpunk.
Oh. Well, no, but I thought Cyberpunk said they wrote that specifically for him.
They might have, but there's definitely this thing. I'm like, now when I've seen that, like, he was interested in Kojima's game, makes it just seem like, oh, this is something where it's not always people going out to him. It's probably his manager and agents going out to other people as well. Yeah. And being like, hey, there's other ways you could be performing here. And if there might be roles for you here, if you're open to it.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to see, because I think we'll start seeing even more movie people pushing into the mocap stuff.
It makes sense considering how big of a fucking industry it is now.
Yeah.
How much money there is being made. Real quick, Brad just sent me a text with the headline, The Witcher Netflix series showrunner on why they will never intersect with the games. And they asked, let's see here. We asked, will the series ever expand toward the games and their narrative? And we had a chance to talk to the showrunner, Lauren Hisrich, and she said very definitively, no. The show will never adapt to the story from the game.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
They didn't license that story.
Right.
And it is such a weird thing, just the way that that's all split, because the games really are their own take on the novels. It's already an adaptation of the novels.
Right. Yeah. There's actually a little quote here that she says, there's so much in the books that we're not going to adapt an adaptation of.
Yeah. They're just going to make their own adaptation. That's fine. That's what they should do. Again, I'm sure there'll be Easter eggs and nods to the game, but the games are telling their own stories.
Yeah. It even comes down to like the pendant. Like the pendant's different. It's like, oh, that's weird. It's like, well, no, it's not really that weird, considering the books were first. So it's
the
weird.
Books are first, and it's closer.
What the games did. Yeah, exactly.
The books.
Right. So wanted to share that. That was timely.
That's funny. But I mean, that makes sense, and I'm okay with that. Like, that's the thing. I'm like, whenever books or games get adaptations to begin with, I would like adaptations to have a purpose and not just be retelling the source material.
Yeah, so, in a different medium.
In a different medium, like, do it. Like, if you feel like you can adapt it and tell something and give me something new, that's what I want. And so that's the thing with the TV show being different. Like, going, no, the games have already adapted the source material in their own way. We can adapt the books and a medium for TV in a way that works well for a serialized TV show. Right. Which is cool, and they should do that.
Man, I can't wait for that.
Yeah, it's cool. Like, it's just cool that we're gonna see it, and it's getting made. It's one of those weird. I'm like, I kind of can't believe the show is actually being made to begin with.
Right, and it's cool for it to be adapted from the books only, where Sapkowski can finally fucking cash in on his goddamn story.
Yes, he can get some money for this. Yeah.
I mean,
he deserves it.
He does. It's just so unlike anything I've ever read. It's so good.
Yeah.
Comic-Con was great. Fucking awesome. I hope I can go next year. Like, I really feel like going to the panels, even though you can watch the shit later on YouTube or whatever. Like, you can't watch everything. And it just, the energy and the fucking electricity in the room, like, it's fucking can't be beat. It was great.
I hope I can go again at some point.
I hope so too. That'd be fun if we could go together.
The last one I went to was 2003.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That long ago?
I went to Comic-Con 2003. I haven't been to Comic-Con since then.
I remember meeting you outside of Comic-Con. Oh, yeah. That would make sense. Crazy. That's a long fucking time ago, man.
It was much different then. Time ago. Yes. Yeah. They didn't even, in 2003, they didn't even have the entire convention center was not even built enough yet for it to be open to take the whole thing.
Right. It just keeps growing and expanding to all the hotels and just fucking whole downtown, man. Just everywhere is shit.
Yeah.
I went to went to pick up my pre-order shirt for Comic-Con, and then I was near the Nintendo event that I always go to. It's always free, and I haven't had tickets for like 6 years. This is the first time since 2012 I've had tickets. So I went there on a whim. I'm like, I'll just check it out. Fucking 4-hour wait.
To get to Nintendo?
To get into the free Nintendo event, which
what were they doing in there?
They had all their games. They had Luigi's Mansion. They had Marvel Ultimate Alliance. They had everything except for Fire Emblem, basically. Which is fine. I'll play it next Friday. But I didn't have to wait last time. I think I waited like half an hour to play.
Yeah,
Smash,
it didn't sound
actually.
like you didn't wait that long.
Yeah, not that long, but 4 hours. Holy shit! Like it has just exploded even more than it was before. So and
crazy.
It's, again more this year than ever before. But it was just a fucking blast, and I hope to God I can go again next year.
Yeah. I hope I can. Maybe we'll see if it works out. Maybe I should come down. It'd be awesome.
You should. Fucking that'd be so rad.
God, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Let's tentatively think about it.
Yes.
And that kind of rolls into what I've been playing because inline I only played Mario Maker 2. I have not played anything else this week. I've fallen head over heels back into reading. So not a lot of gaming except for a little bit inline. I probably played and also during sorry guys, during The Walking Dead. I played probably 4 or 5 hours of Mario Maker 2 during Comic-Con. And maybe 3 or 4 hours actually, but fucking story mode. That's all I've been playing, and it's just great. It's just more of Nintendo said, okay, I'm going to use these parameters to make a puzzle. So here's the puzzle. Figure out how to get out of here with Mario, and it's not like the Mario 3 or Super Mario World had more puzzles, I guess, but Mario 3 was just like get to the end. This is like here are fucking puzzles. You have to figure out how to get to the end of the stage holding something or figure out how to get where the key is to open the lock, whatever. It's just like smart puzzles. It's just a puzzle game fucking so far, and it's great. And that's all I've been playing.
That's cool.
Until Friday when I play Fire Emblem.
Yeah. No, that's what I've been waiting for too. In my some downtime I've been playing Valkyria Chronicles 4.
Nice.
That kind of I feel like I'm like, this is the tactics game that's holding me off until I can get Fire Emblem, which is what I really want. It's cool though. Valkyria Chronicles 4 is, it's still very pretty in that the art style that they have, and they've really honed that. It's just like that living cartoon, basically.
Right.
I've played, the missions are still kind of long, but the great thing about the Switch is that I can even just pause it in the middle of a mission. And you can save in the middle of missions now. So
that's good.
Yeah, the fact that they take a while and they have multi-parts is less of an issue. So I've probably put 4 or 5 hours into it. Got through a couple missions, and it is skirmish, and I'm not seeing anything that's oh my god, this is so new for Valkyria Chronicles. It's just a solid Valkyria Chronicles game. It's what I remember them being like. The similar story presentation through the book, and seeing different scenes as you're flipping pages, and it's pictures, and you click the picture and it shows you a cutscene or dialogue. It has the units that want to be in squads with other units who they like. Basically, it has a lot of similar Fire Emblem type things, except the actual strategy and tactics is just very different than a Fire Emblem Tactics game. Just the free roaming, free aiming type stuff. But it's a lot of fun. If you like tactics game, it's a good tactics game.
And you played the original Valkyria Chronicles,
yes.
Right? Okay. So do you find it better? Same.
Right now, cool. It hasn't done anything that makes me go oh, this is so much better. It has quality of life improvements compared to the first one, but it's just basically, it's not going to make you like the series if you disliked the first one or any of the other ones. It's not trying to reinvent itself. It's just if you like Valkyria Chronicles, you will like this game.
I think I put an hour into the first one, or 2 hours maybe.
Yeah.
I played the first couple missions. It was good. It just, I think I was probably into playing the PS. I was probably fucking Assassin's Creed Odyssey, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh shit! That last DLC dropped.
It just came out. Yeah. You
God damn it!
And you're leaving.
I'm leaving. I'm not even thinking about it. I got other things to think about. I have Fire Emblem to play while I'm gone.
How long are you gone for?
2 weeks.
So maybe I can catch you. Fucking probably won't, but maybe I can catch up with you.
No, you'll be playing Fire Emblem. Let's be honest.
That's true. Never mind. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to catch up with you. I'm still in the middle of the second chapter of the first DLC pack.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I'm very curious. I want to finish that. Eventually, I will. It will happen.
Yeah, but you're going to drop it as soon as Fire Emblem comes out.
Yeah, that's what I'll be playing. And then when I'm back from the trip, we can talk all about Fire Emblem.
I can't wait. I'm really interested in whether, and I think it will, but whether it hits you or not, because you played Awakening for a bit, but that's about it.
I'm very curious how it's going to go, considering I'm going to have zero ability to look at any guides or any conversation about the game. Like, I am literally going to be playing it cut off from all of that. Yeah. And I'm just going to be looking at the game going like, what do I do now? What should I do?
Right.
Hopefully it's not a game where you can go down a path with characters or upgrades or choices that makes it impossible to play. Because knowing my luck, I will do that, and I'll be very sad.
Yeah, I mean, you've been listening to all the previews and stuff. Obviously, it's not giving any like guide hints or anything like that, but it's basically focusing on how good the story is. And I'm just like, that's the thing that just has sucked in. Like, Awakening was okay, but Fates was terrible in terms of story. And I don't want to get my hopes up too much, but if the story is good and it's a good Fire Emblem game, like it probably will be, like, fuck, it might just be my game of the year before I even play. So, I can't wait. Friday, actually Thursday at 9. That's when it unlocks.
Yeah, I'm not going to be anywhere around Wi-Fi or cell service at 9 at night on Thursday. Pretty sure my campground won't have cell service there.
Yeah, I would suspect no.
I'm saying no, but there's a chance. There's always a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance.
But Friday morning I'm going to Old Faithful. So which is a much more touristy, and there's a bunch of hotels and stuff there. So
right.
And at worst case, and I can't get it there or anything, then I have to wait till Tuesday. And that Tuesday I'll actually be in a small city, and I can hook up to a cafe there.
Right.
And get it. So.
Well, I hope that you get it as soon as you can, because it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. And then we'll obviously talk about when you get back.
Yeah, definitely.
Whew. Well, that was a crazy long episode of Prof and Dev Play Games, episode 201. Probably at least twice as long as episode 200, which is funny. Again, we are doing a contest basically where we're giving away some physical swag, not swag because not everyone's getting it, but some physical items, Assassin's Creed Odyssey and some Mass Effect out of print, I think, Mass Effect Cards Against Humanity cards, for leaving us a review on iTunes specifically, and then tweeting us a picture at Prof Plays Games at SummerSpeak. And of course, if you like our show, please check us out on Patreon. Search Prof and Dev Play Games on Patreon, $5 a month. We will do a topic of your choice. $1 a month, we will shout you out on the show. We hope you like the show, and we will be back next week. Actually, you will not be back next week. I will be back next week with someone else.
Yes.
Talking about video games. Until then, thanks for listening.
All right. Later, everyone.